Toronto, and that gives us a good excuse to talk about this. Because Thad Young was on a podcast with Tony Allen and Zebo and was talking about how being in Toronto kind of sucks. Because you got to go through customs for every road game, which, you know, I never even really thought about, and the cold. Lou and I have been talking about this, Chandler, because we're discovering things. Because as an opposing team coming in and out, it was very, very easy. But the Toronto side is different.
I remember the Toronto Raptor fan base got upset with me because I tried to explain the disadvantages of playing with the Toronto Raptors opposed to the rest of the NBA, and they took that personally, like I was dissing. I wasn't trying to be disrespectful towards their fan base or Toronto. I enjoyed my time there. I loved it. I wouldn't have traded my experience with the Raptors for the world. I won my first 6 man there. But it has its disadvantages. You know, you go through customs as an away team once if you're in the Western Conference, twice if you're in the East. When you play for the Toronto Raptors, you do it 41 times.
Never thought about it.
Yeah, it's a completely different experience. And, you know, because you're in Canada, Canada has its own culture. It has its own heritage and things of that nature. And so there are some adjustments that you're probably not used to when you're an American, when you go to play there. And so I wouldn't say that it sucked for me. I thoroughly enjoyed my time in Toronto, but it definitely has its disadvantages when you play for the Raptors opposed to being on the opposing team.
I never thought about it, Chandler. I was like, yeah, duh, they go through customs every single time. Like and it's for us, it's like you're on the tarmac, they bring customs to you, you land, there's a customs building that's separate, and that's it. It's quick.
Completely different.
That's different.
Like we do that on the way back, but when you're leaving Toronto, you park your car at the private airport, you get on a team bus, they drive you over to the airport, they give you tickets to wherever you're flying to.
What is this?
You go, well, to their credit though, they do open up security lines just for us.
So your own TSA pre.
We do.
Okay.
But we are there with people.
Like you can get a Cinnabon also if you want to.
I definitely can get a Cinnabon,
awesome.
and you're definitely going to be asked and requested to take pictures and things of that nature. Like that's part of the experience. And then once you land back, you have the private airport where customs is right there in the lobby helping you as well. But again, this is something you go through 41 times or however many times that you go out on the road to play these games. That's going to be the experience.
Wait, true or false? Kobe had a moment. Please just tell that story. It's funny.
True. Kobe did have a moment. He did not want to take his shoes off in customs. He didn't.
That's my favorite thing of all time.
That is true.
Yeah. I never thought about it. Like going once is kind of a drag, especially if you land 1 a.m. and you got to go through customs. And I remember you literally walk through the airport sometimes, and I never really thought about doing that 41 times. I mean, it is what it is, but that is a big difference. But really want to nitpick too, you also got to sit through 2 national anthems during warm-ups every single.
That's a good point.
Again,
it's a good point.
Listen, it's a lot.
That's like
it's
12 minutes.
I'm not trying to rile them up again. I probably should.
I mean, I love Toronto.
I love Toronto, and listen. I love my time there, and they embraced me, and it was one of the highlights of my career being in Toronto. But it has its disadvantages. It is what it is.
Never ever even.
How about this? I remember I had a teammate who had something fishy with like an investigation or arrest before, and he wasn't allowed to go through customs, and he couldn't travel with the team to Toronto.
That's a thing too.
And trying to ship your cars over, all of those type of things, family and friends, it being difficult for them to travel
banking, all that stuff we take for granted.
Like speeding tickets and those things, you probably can't get some of your friends through to come visit. It's a lot of little different things that you don't think of. There's no Sports Center, there's no ESPN. They have their own.
It's Sports Centre.
And TSN, and it's just a lot of different things that you're not accustomed to going through or experiencing that can be different for you, that can make it a little challenging.
Never even thought about it.
Yeah.
Things I have to consider. There were other games. We also had a Bucks-Lakers game that occurred. I mean, no one played in it. There was